Hi, Cochrane. Thanks for joining me on a really beautiful night here. It's now September 9th. I want to talk about a meeting that I attended in council chambers on September 8th. Now, I actually haven't introduced myself. Dan Cunin, I'm running for town council. Please vote on October 20th. I'd love to have you vote. Now, on September 8th, there was a meeting about off-site levies. Now, my concern, and I don't have much time here, so I'm going to have to cut right to my concerns, are many. But I'm going to cut to the point. My concern about this offsite levy, especially the way it was presented, is that ultimately, when it was approved, it gave blanket permission for at least one, if not 3 or 4 different projects. The major problem that we have is we can't afford those projects. We can't do that without raising our debt level. And when we raise our debt level, we increase our debt servicing costs, which eventually finds its way into increased taxes. Now, the next council could either choose to do that, or they could choose to outright raise your taxes, and no one's going to be happy with that. And I think there were all other alternatives that were available. Now, that being said, there's a pragmatic reality here, is that this report was 4 years in the making. It was non-compliant with a lot of the reporting standards, but it was there. And so a decision had to be made. Now, I would have actually likely voted in favor of this, but, and this is a big important but, I would have done so only under certain conditions here. Now, those conditions here really come into one thing. I would have actually gotten my questions answered by administration and the consultant that was providing the information. A lot of time I don't think that was happened. And there wasn't a lot of questions, in fairness, asked anyways. I had many more to ask. 2, I would have ensured that we're dealing with fact, that we're dealing with actual numbers, and until those numbers were before me, I don't know if I could have said yes. Again, I would have wanted to say yes. I don't know if I could have. Now, the third and most important thing is, by passing this locks council into the next council into projects that honestly they have no control over once certain legal steps are taken. Now, what I would have made sure is that if that bylaw was passed, it was passed with certain contingencies in place that would ensure that no other tenders were brought forward or engaged in by the town unless council had approved those, until a decision had been made about what to do with that extra debt. I think this is really important, likely underreported. Again, when I talk about restoring budget fundamentals and transparency, this is exactly what I'm talking about. My name is Dan Cunin. I'm going to be running for town council. You can talk to me through my cell phone. You can talk to me through my website, Dan Cunin for Town Council. Thank you. Have a great evening.